now we know that there's one brand that defeated Ford throughout generations, and that brand is the Chevrolet. Sadly, in 1950, it was one of the only years that Chevrolet actually lost in this battle against Ford, and I think it's going to be clear why. So in 1953, its first production year started, and it's still being produced now. So in 1953, it was the first generation out of 8 generations. And as you can see from the technical specs, you definitely understand why Ford won during this decade, because of its top speed being much lower than Ford's, and its time, especially being branded as a sports brand, it was not so good and disappointed a lot of their customers. But they definitely do have a couple specs that would make it a good car, like only 300 of them being sold was actually positive now, because it makes it a rare collectibles item, as well as the Power Glide, being one of General Motors' inventions, made it pretty quiet for it to switch from low gear to high gear. And there was also the V6, which was a pretty rare thing to have on a car in the 1950s. But what I also like about it is their resourcefulness during post-World War II, because during that time there was a lot of decrease in steel, so they had to find a cheaper, more effective option, which was fiberglass. But even with this invention, what ultimately got them defeated by Ford was the fact that they rushed it. They were too excited that their customers wanted to buy this car, and then they completely rushed the whole process, which made their car not as good as it could have been. And that's why there was only 300 that were sold, and that they got defeated by Ford.